Hi guys. Hi, I'm Mayur Goswami and I'm the co-founder of Yodaafy. So we have already had few podcasts before, and right now the reason that we have gathered here is for a very specific reason, and that is for hearing the voice of students. So the series that we have presently right now with us is something we call that Unheard Voice of Students, where we have a data scientist with us, Mr. Sourav Mukherjee, who is from INT. And apart from him, we also have a couple of students from two different colleges. So the main reason that we are gathered here is because to hear them out. The reason is quite simple. We actually want to go ahead and create a podcast for students specifically looking to get into the field of data science, right? Because we have to understand something very profound here. In the coming days, in the coming years, data science as a career, data science as a job prospect is going to increase. At this point of time, as we speak, as we have this podcast right now, we have a lot of companies approaching us with various aspects of getting data scientists onto their team. And that is one of the major reasons why we are collaborating with a lot of colleges, trying to bring podcast in this section and trying to reach out to most of these students and bring in a professional data scientist who can answer most of these questions, right? So I will go ahead and I'll introduce Sourav, who is there with me. Sourav, please introduce yourself.
Hi guys, myself is Sourav Mukherjee. I work in data science domain for INT Industrial Technologies. So I am currently working on predominantly in the generative AI part, which consists of LLMs, other image generative AI part, these things. So I'm here to share all my experiences I have gathered in the journey of data science, that from where to start, what we can expect, then what are the limitations, what are the advantages, and what can be the future aspect of in terms of data science and its market. So let's see what happens.
So, sort of before we proceed further, there are certain things like we have a couple of students with us here, right?
Yeah.
So, before we get to them, before we get to their questions, which is more important, let's get to understand about you, because you are not generally from a background where we can expect that you will be a data scientist right out of college. So, you have gone through a process, you have gone through certain curriculums that you have prepared yourself in, and right now you're also working as mentors for us ourselves, right? So how is the journey when we are looking at the fact that from an electrical or electronics background, you have completely transitioned into a career in data science? So how is that journey, and exactly if you can tell us from your college time, how did you come here?
Sure. Actually, I started my college journey for applied electronics and instrumentation engineering, which mostly deals with sensors and the process automation. Okay. Now the thing is that I actually worked till 2020, 2021 in that sector, but we were working mostly on there is a certain kind of companies like Siemens, ABB, they have their own knowledge system, own coding system. So I was profoundly working on that. But there was a search called data, what can I say, that digital twin that came up in 2019 concept. It's a 2019 concept. So it comes on the revolution of Industry 4.0. So then again, every big company started to explore the data science, because we have a lot of data, correct? We have a lot of sensors. How much sensors we are having is equivalent to how much data we are having in the database, correct? So now what to do next? You have your data, you have a process, but what to next? What we can achieve? We can analyze the historical data, but how to start with predicting the future? So they started exploring it, and they told us, okay, you have to study on this. Okay, whatever you have learned, whatever you have been working on the industrial automation part, keep it aside. Don't keep it outline, but keep it in a parallel line. But your main focus should be in the data science. But because the beauty of the data science is, you can implement it in any field. You can be in a production field, you can be in a banking field, you can be any kind of financial or XYZ field you can take.
Right.
If there is a data, there is a data science. It's as simple as that. So then after that push, I personally, if you speak about me, I personally started reading about the data science, because I had very basic knowledge about the coding. I had a knowledge that there is a coding language called Python exists, there is a coding language called this exists, but I didn't have that much of background. So then I started, and actually lockdown helped me a lot. Because when we started, the lockdown started in 2020, early February or March, this thing. The whole thing were kept in the home actually. So I started reading about the Python, then I finished the Python, then I looked around, okay, next what I can work on or what I can study. Now the thing is that data science is a mixture of statistics and programming language both.
True.
Okay. So now when you start, when you just jump into the YouTube, there's, okay, I want to learn data science or this kind of things, that there are two kind of things which will be pop up. As one is a statistical background oriented, and one is how to implement as the coding. Correct. So choose between these two, because statistic itself is a, it's an ocean. Okay. You can't never complete statistics. Okay. So if you go in that direction, that will be a very complicated one, because we are not coming from the math background. I was not from the math background. So then I chose, okay, how to things solved in the Python way, in a Python way. Then I started, reading out different articles, started, watching different kind of videos. There are a lot of influencers, there are a lot of YouTubers who actually make everyday basis YouTube videos about machine learning, this kind of things.
Right.
But you can get the basic idea of it, not the whole idea of thing. Because there is a lot of this deeper thing is this. So I just wanted to have the basic knowledge out of it, so where I can implement those things, because I already had a project in my company. Okay, so I had that implementation area. So I just needed the basic knowledge.
That makes sense, but when we are talking about you getting into this field of data science, because what we are predominantly talking about when the students are coming into the picture, right? We have approached a lot of colleges, and the kind of questions that comes up from these students is quite, I won't say unique, but it differs from person to person.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
So right now that we are all getting out of the post, like if you can say it as a post-COVID era, where people are coming back to office, so people have a lot of inhibition within them, right? They think either maybe we are not prepared to go back to office. Most of them want to work from home. That's one of the things. And secondly, when it comes to a data science segment, as a data scientist, do you think that we are actually looking at, say, more of a hybrid culture in the future, or is it something else after COVID?
In terms of office culture or data science?
Yeah, in like for data scientist as an office culture, I mean.
See, what I can, if you want me answer in my personal experience, then I can say sometimes you need a empty room to think about the logic, and sometimes office cannot provide that kind of environment, very honestly, because there are a lot of things happening in the office. There are a lot of people, lot of stakeholders doing lot of different things.
Right.
So you need a room where you can think about, because see what I have said, that data science has no any particular domain. You can implement in any domain. And every domain, and not only every domain, for if you let's say particular, there is a domain called utility sector, or in a manufacturing sector, what problem a company will face, the second company may not face the same problem. They have some kind of other problems. They kind of, because you have to collect the data, you have to analyze it, then you have to do other processing. So data collection procedure is not same for all. So you have to understand each and every requirement. And for that, if you ask me personally, I will go for the hybrid model.
That makes sense also. So I'll get down to the students right
Sure.
now. It'll be really good to know about them a bit. So please, Aniruddha, please go ahead and introduce yourself so that we can get to know a bit about your background, and then maybe we can go ahead and we can try and understand few of your questions both of you have, right? So then we can take it one thing at a time.
So hi, I'm Aniruddha Karmakar. I'm with a bachelor's background, bachelor's of computer science. So I am just switching to my domain, like the basics computer science, the theoretical computer science, to specifically data science. Like I was asking also that like other than BTech, you have to stick to theoretical background. Cool. So we are lacking from the projects and all those things, like the industry level projects. So this is our lacks. So we know the deep about the theories and all those things, like we know about machine learning, we know about AI, but we don't have the knowledge, like what industries are wanting from as a fresher, wanting for me as a fresher. So it's kind of difficulty for us, like as a representative of bachelor's background students. It's very difficult for us to switching from BSc computer science or BSc anything, BSc student, BSc any subjects to just drop in or land into the like companies.
Okay, that's good to know about you. Then we'll get to the questions that you guys have for a data scientist, right? So, Sumita, let's get to you. So, please go ahead and introduce yourself and just let us know a bit about your background, exactly where you are right now in a professional field or as a student, and then maybe we can get into the next part of things. Yeah.
So, hello guys, I'm Sumita Pathak. Currently, I am a second year student pursuing my BTech in CS with AIML. So, I started coding in like 6th standard and I have loved it all along the way. But right now, as I'm in college, so we need to choose a path after this, right? We need to have a career out of it. So, I'm learning a lot of things at once, you can say, but Python has really interested me, like data visualization, as we say. We use Google Lens and everything, so that really interested me. So someone told me that you might try for data science. You can try for data science as you have interest in these various fields. So that's why I'm trying to like look out for different fields and domains which I can get into right now, and like make a career out of it.
So, Sumita, now that we know a bit about you, there are certain things that I would like to ask. As you're in second year, right? Okay, so you're in second year, so you have 2 more years to complete your BTech and then maybe go ahead and get into the job sector. So in 2 years, as we know that the data keeps changing very rapidly, and it is generally said that every 3 months things are updating themselves. So right now it's data science. After 2 years, it might be something completely different. Maybe the basic will be there, the logic will be there, but what about that? Like, have you thought of a long-term plan that, okay, if not data science, maybe since I am interested in data visualization, I can do something in those lines?
So for me, like not only in programming, for everything, the fundamentals are the must, right? So as if we have learned C, so Python and other languages become very easy for us. So if I know the basics and the fundamental of data science right now, I think I can just learn the updated versions and just contribute to it.
Yeah, that makes sense. Sumita, from which college you are?
I am from Dr. Shudhi Chandrashur Institute of Engineering.
Okay. So you're from Shudhir Chandrashur. So that's a GIS group college, if I'm not wrong. Okay, great. So now, without further ado, so the main thing that we are here for is actually to get you guys accustomed to a data scientist. Let's try and understand few of the things here, because what we are looking at, the reason that we have this podcast, as at the start I was saying, right? So it has to be very cordial, because I want you guys to, like, there are hundreds and hundreds of people like you who are trying to get into the field of data science. So they will have a lot of questions, right? They will have a lot of things that they want answered for themselves. So you guys can take the field, go ahead, ask your questions. You have the data scientist with us. Please go ahead, please make yourself comfortable, and just make sure that you have those, even if it's a silly point, go for it, because this is exactly what the students want to hear. And this experience, they will take it, and maybe you might change someone's life who is going to go ahead and pursue his or her career as a data scientist, right? So Aniruddha, I'll start with you.
So, as you know, I am from bachelor's background, so it's very difficult for me for the projects and all those things. So, like I was reading for data science, like what is data science in many websites and all those things. Like it's just an option for us. So, like there are different questions and answers and all those things in the websites. But actually, what is data science? Like what the data scientists do in the companies, and what are the job roles of the things?
That's a very interesting question. Maybe Sourav
Actually.
can answer that. Yeah.
Actually. So if we look at the total journey of data, I mean from the storing, then coming to a system, then main part, So data has a history. That is a data analysis, where we are finding the trends. Okay, what has happened? Correct. So that was already there. We know how to make the trends out of the historical analysis. Okay, historical data analysis. But the question arises when few people ask that what we can achieve more, how we can see the future. So when we talk about to predict the future, to analyze the data in such a way that it can actually give you a trend, a very hidden trend. Maybe that was happening because let's say when you are taking 10 years of data, let's say 10 years, 20 years of data, that's a very nominal data size in a data science field. Okay. So 10 years, 20 years data, if there is a sudden or hidden trend that you could not find out by just looking at the data points or the numbers, that findings is very important, and that's where the magic happens in the data science. So analyzing the data in such a way, it can give you a story that no one knew about in the room. So that is data science.
Like from my point of view, up to which I understand, like you said about data science, so it's like for finding some insights from the data.
In top of view, you can say it's an insight. But when we talk about insights and when we talk about specifically data science, it's much more that. I mean, you process the data in such a way that it can actually predict, or this can be happen, or this can happen. When this will happen? What is the probability of this happening? Okay, so this kind of futuristic question or futuristic event, when you get the answers of this type of questions, then you can say, okay, we are moving towards the data science.
Like I have seen in the ISRO and all those things, like they collect data. Okay, like for Chandrayaan 3 also, they took many data. Like previous, they were failure in Chandrayaan 3, so they took the data from there. So is this like that they predict something from the previous data, so that the next event may be successful or not?
It can be. It can be. If you are storing the data, let's see, the data science truly depends on the quality of the data. Okay, the more qualitative data you are feeding in, the more quality output you will be getting. And what sort of prediction or what sort of future events you want to know, that depends on you. Maybe NASA is currently doing. I hope I know they actually do this kind of extensive research. Okay. Because to find out what was the error and what can be happen, that is very much, and data science is now everywhere. So to be in a fail-safe particular position, you need to have a data science in your room.
Okay.
Just adding to what he was asking to you, right, regarding the Chandrayaan 2 having failed and then Chandrayaan 3 coming into the picture. So recently I was going through, I guess it was an article of NASA. I'm not so sure exactly. Either it was NASA or maybe some Russian or Chinese thing. I don't remember exactly which space agency was it. So they were actually discussing the use of data or the use of visualization as a tool to understand exactly what is the path a certain any orbiter takes, like whatever goes around the Earth, right? Any orbiter takes. So apparently they can actually, understanding the path trajectory, they can actually predict whether this one will crash or this one won't. Like for example, all the space shuttles which go to space, right? So they generally land over sea. Like there is a specific point in Pacific Ocean where they land, and that basically depends on the Earth's rotational capacity. So they land on a specific spot, and there is this whole area under which they land, and that is actually calculated with data, because a minor miscalculation can make that spaceship land on some city, and that's going to be a huge issue. So that's a very good point that he brought up, because use of data in various fields is very predominant. It was actually always there.
It was there.
Yeah.
It was something like it was there, and it was a question of time, that when we will find out. That's it.
Apparently. So the data was always used. The only thing was, now we know that there is a term to it called data science. So yeah, that's the whole thing. So Sumita, you have something to ask?
And I just want to add here kind of a thing for ISRO, NASA. Their life revolves around the data. Because you can't measure something that is out of your world, correct? The only rely point is data.
Absolutely.
And they are epicenter. Okay.
So as I said, like I'm interested in getting into data science. I have searched on YouTube and Google very much. So either they give me a very basic roadmap, or they like it's really complicated, right? So what are the specific skills or languages or tools do we need to master to get into and get started into data science?
Okay. So the first road, what experienced about, that is Python. Because if you are not that statistical field, if you are not that from the math field, the only one way you can reach there, that is Python. And there is another language called R. R is also in the market, but if you see in the corporate or the business world, R is still have time to get over.
It's very nascent, like
It's very calculative oriented, but Python is here, and it has the world's most, you can say, engaging community as of now. Because something is happening each and every time. Some libraries is getting updated, some modules have been getting updated, so it's so much happening. So start with the Python.
So, like, you're from which field?
I'm from BTech.
No, field as in like your computer science, right? So she's from computer science, so she has a very basic understanding of the programming language. Oh yeah, you told me that you know C, right? Yeah. So you have your basics clear. Yeah. So when we're talking about programming language or any kind of language, so when people do not have that kind of a background, when people, suppose if I'm talking about someone who does not have a programming language or doesn't know anything, so is it always a good thing to start with Python, or do you think HTML, CSS can be a starting point for people who are absolutely basic, like maybe a BCom graduate?
No, if you talk about HTML, CSS, I don't think they will add that much of value, because the concepts
I mean the logic. At least HTML, CSS will give you the understanding of how to build a logic,
yes,
right?
You can be familiar that how to work with a programming language. That is absolutely correct. Right. How to edit a code, how to organize a code, that is also a very good skill. Because writing a code which is taking time of 5 minutes and writing the same code in such a way which is taking less than 1 minute or 2 minutes, that's a huge achievement in terms of typing the code. So to understand the ecosystem, it is better you can start with HTML, CSS as well.
So basically logic building is very important.
Correct.
It's one of the most
programming
important.
language, that can be anything, but you should be able to create the logic.
Right, makes sense. Yeah, Aniruddha?
So as you know, I am from BSc background. So like deep coding skills is required or not? It's my main question. Like you said that Python, R, or C.
Deep requirement for the stage of fresher, or you are saying about?
No, just as a fresher.
As a fresher, see, first of all, there is no quantitative parameter of deep.
Yeah, that's the thing.
The thing is that more you can learn, the more you can grasp. It's not something that you just read the particular function 10 times and that's in your mind, but you don't know about it. You don't know what the works can be done around it. That will be a difficult problem. Maybe you will have the information, but you will not have the knowledge.
Like I was going through some articles and all those things. So they were just telling that learn NumPy, Pandas, and all those things. So they are required, I guess, for data science and for the basics. Yes. If I'm from the base, so I think it's required.
So Pandas, if I talk about Pandas, NumPy, actually, if you see the data science muchly relies on the linear algebra.
Exactly.
The matrix we have done, the differentiation we have done, you have to do the same thing by the code only. Okay. Now the thing is that if you work with NumPy caters all the numerical applications in Python. Let's say you want to work in a matrix, you need to have the library called NumPy. Or you want to work with a table, because every data you will get as a table, correct? In a tabular format, rows and columns, correct? That is another way around a matrix also, correct? So to work with those tables, you need Pandas.
Okay. Like you're telling just it's like a connection. Like you have to learn C, C++.
It's not a connection. You can take it as a step.
Okay, like step
if you
one
think
is
that I want to skip pandas and numpy and matplotlib and then want to jump in a very more complex way, there will be a certain point then you will face the most of the blocker.
okay.
Sort of adding to that, right, regarding this numpys, pandas, and etc. Most of them are Python libraries, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
So, when we're talking about the Python libraries part, just to make it easier for our audience, because
sure, absolutely.
they will get confused here. Because just understanding Python libraries are basically a set of commands which have been, which there is a community of Python developers or Python enthusiasts who keep updating there, right? So who can work around few of the modules, who will give you shortcuts, who will give you all kind of libraries which you can take and you can use it directly in your code. So is it that simple, or is it like I'm simplifying it a bit too much?
No, I think if you want to know about from a fresher standpoint, I think it is good that okay, Python this in pandas or numpy, any library you name it, there are n number of functionalities attached to it. Okay, every functionality caters every other huge applications. Okay, but as I said that Python community was that much of strong or is that much of strong in terms of data science, they are already constantly building different kind of libraries. Okay, so it is making very easier day by day. It is getting very easier day by day that for a particular specific problem, you just have to search, okay, what are the Python libraries that can cater this particular problem or may cater at a certain level. So you just download or install the library and you can use it. It is at much of ease because Python is very much library dependent language.
Okay, so if Python is a library dependent language, so like making it more approachable for the freshers. So when we're talking about the freshers perspective, right? So like if I go to I go to Google right now and I type data science job for freshers, I'll get over 1 lakh results where people are looking for data scientists who are freshers or with 0 to 1 year of experience. But most of the time, what we see as a company, we have students training and everything. So we keep seeing that we have a lot of inquisitiveness among people regarding the data analysis part, where they are asking for the visualization concepts, they're asking for maybe SQL as a background, they're asking for maybe advanced Excel as a background, and once they are into that field, then maybe get into a data scientist role. Like first get experience as a data analyst, then get into data scientist. Because in data science, what I understand from all the conversations that we have been having, that there are 3 different facts here. One is the data engineering fact, where we are getting the data, where we are collecting the data, the raw data and whatever it is. Then we have the data science part, which includes data mining, exploration, etc., and building a model. And then is the deployment part, where we are deploying in a specific model to make it workable, right, or create a product out of it. So before all these things, as a fresher, what I understand is you can't get into data science directly. So it has to be the first step and then slowly move into that, right? So adding to, like, since Aniruddha was saying that he is from a very basic background, because BTechs actually have a lot more exposure than a BSc people, right?
Obviously.
So that's always a thing that we keep thinking. So from a BSc standpoint, isn't it easier to get into a data analysis role than maybe data science role, or do you think otherwise?
Data analysis means we can say it's the historical data analysis. Yes, obviously it is easy because that much of complexity is not there.
Right.
It's a very simple functions or the simple arithmetic calculations that we did in our school life, college life. Data analysis is just more extensive, implementation of it. So
Right.
obviously, if you say that yes, working with Excel, learning about the Excel, then starting about the different basic functionalities of data analysis will be a good starting point, because you have to have the understanding about the data first. I mean, you need to see the data.
Right. So technically, data analysis is an easier entry point
Yes.
for freshers,
Yes.
then maybe get into a data scientist role. But yeah, there are people who are getting to data science role directly if they have that exposure, right? And of course, good internships, good like a couple of months of internships will propel them towards it. But at the same time, for a complete novice, it's always easier to get into data analysis. Then maybe use that experience to catapult yourself to a
Correct,
data science
correct,
role.
correct.
Right. So, Aniruddha, any more questions, please?
No. Later.
So you said like for starting we take the data in Excel sheets and everything. So for basics, like in school we have been taught the Excel part and we have been taught the SQL part. Okay, so we have done the basics of it. But now I'm seeing that MongoDB and NoSQL or SQL as anyone says it. So these are on rise the trends, right? These are the trending languages in data science that are entering. So, do you think that these other languages like NoSQL and MongoDB impacts my projects in any way, or is there any need to switch from SQL to these?
Okay, no, I think if you look at the data structure of data science, for the data science or data analysis, they are mostly structured data. They are mostly the data in a tabular format. They are not in a JSON or NoSQL format. Okay. So, when we talk about the structure or tabular format of data, primarily we are having Excel.
Yeah.
Then in a enterprise level or in a very standard level, we are having the SQLDB. Okay. So the question is not about the learning the SQL or learning the Excel or not, having the structure idea. Obviously, it is always good to have the basic SQL command in your mind. Okay, that how to retrieve the data, how to clean the data, how to dump the data, how to load the data. But having the data structure identity, I mean, what is the column, what is the row, I mean, how to manipulate a thing. It can be using formula using in Excel. You can use the same formula in SQL as well.
Okay.
The scripting language will be just changed.
Okay.
And the SQL is very easy to learn language in comparison to Python or any other program, I mean the coding language.
So let's say we have learned the Python libraries and SQL or any other form of it. So, what kind of projects do you recommend keeping in a resume to make an impact in the interview?
Okay, when we talk about the project, it's always good to have some practical projects in your CV. Okay, because the thing is that there is a website called Kaggle. Okay, there you can get the simulation of data set. But the thing is that when you work with real life data or any data set that a particular company is working on, you get that how much cleaning or how much pre-processing of the data you need to do to get a standard data, because the data you are getting and data you are putting in the model, they are hell and heaven difference there are a lot of denoising factors are there are a lot of outliers will be in the data. You have to remove all the outliers. Then you have to make a data set which is 100% healthy. Correct. So to make a healthy data set and how it look at the first phase, you always get an idea if you work with a real data set.
Adding on to that, in very simple language, the project that these people are going to display in their resumes or maybe get or whatever, it has to be very ready project, right? Because I cannot have a set of codes which I can give to the interviewer and say, this is what I have done. Of course, like you take interviews. So I'm pretty much sure you look at ready projects.
Correct.
If you're asking for a data scientist, what you generally look at is, okay, if the person knows all these concepts, whether this person has used these concepts in a particular, say, model, and whether he has built something with it or he has given it to some deployment team who have built something with it, right? So isn't it that, or is it just the implementation of the knowledge that he has?
No, I think when we take interview, we need to check that, because there are a lot of modules available in the data science. There are a lot of statistical algorithms are available.
True.
Correct. So if you have few of them are hands-on in a project, and if you can describe that, because when we say that, okay, describe me the project, we understand who has done in hands-on or who haven't.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. So we can get an idea, okay, if you face a blocker, how to tackle with that. If you get a very noisy data, how to clean that. If you get something very unprecedented blocker, how to solve that, how to use the algorithm, and how to think that how to make the particular algorithm better. So until and unless you do as a project, you will never learn these practical things, because academics is you have done, you have learned what is regression, but when you try to apply in a data set, you will face a lot of errors. Until and unless you do these things, you do your hands dirty, you will never know that what are the challenges you will get. So it's always to get a basic view of that that kind of road blocking things.
You have your answer. Aniruddha.
So, doing the bachelor's, is it necessary to switch my career to masters? Or like in BTech, that they have exposures for the companies and all those things. But it's very true and it's very popular to us from the BScs that we don't get the exposure of the companies. So, should we do the masters and then land on the companies, or is it?
I don't think it is mandatory.
Okay.
I don't think it is mandatory. You can do your master degree. It's on your own interest, own research. I mean, one, how you want to see yourself in your career. That actually defines whether you will do the MTech or not. But if you say in the data science, data analysis, it is not mandatory that you have to have a master's degree. But yes, there are some roles. If you check out, there are some roles. There is a intensive research knowledge is needed in terms of statistical. Okay. There are few companies who ask for the PhD level for that statistical thing, where you have to do all the maths by your own hand.
Okay.
So, but other than that, if you talk about the programming language oriented path, there is not a mandatory thing.
So you are telling just it's not mandatory or like those. Like, are we eligible for switching from the BSc to companies? Like, is it eligible for us? Like the BTechs.
If you tell me, I can give you the answer based on my experience. Anyone has an interest who they can jump into the data world.
Okay, like it's nothing like eligibility criteria.
Data scientist role, they maybe start with the data analyst role.
Okay, like eligibility criteria or the term BSc or BTech is not that limelight of that.
No, I mean, I don't think that's relevant for as of now in the practical world where we are heading. The skill is important. The tag which we are having is not that important as of my understanding. Okay, if you have the skill, if you have the guts, okay, I will do that, I will do this, I will crack this, then you are most welcome.
Okay, so you are telling that there is no extra points for having the masters in specific regions, as you've said. Like in general, there is no something extra points for us to do the masters.
I don't know if there is some extra point or not. But obviously, if you are having a bachelor degree, it can be a technological bachelor degree, or it can be by physics or science background mostly. You will not face any challenge to be a data analysis or data scientist, or at least data analysis.
Like we are eligible for the interview rounds too.
Yes, because you have to study a lot. You have to do your hands-on projects.
Okay.
You have to complete your academics, and obviously you have to be aware about the world of data science.
Okay, then like doing the live projects from my point of view, from my interest. So it's okay to land there in the companies.
Any day.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so like we know many fields require many years of investment of our time to learn and grow for the interviews. So how long can I expect to get a basic hold of data science so I can land an interview or get into a company?
It actually depends from where you are starting.
Okay.
Let's
say I'm starting from scratch.
Starting from scratch, then it may take some time, because you need to get hands-on on a particular language on which you will be able to build the program. Then we will have to know the basic fundamentals of things. Then you have to go for a live project or this kind of practical thing. Then you can go for the application part. Okay. So it depends on, there is no particular this kind of things, okay, you have to do this in 6 months or 7 months.
Okay.
The faster you start, the faster you move in your journey, the first year you will get that. You can say around 6 to 7 months at least you need, maybe more than that, depending how much time you are investing per day.
Obviously. Okay, thank you.
So as I heard from you that let's conclude like this, that some projects, life projects, is a plus point for us to come in the companies than the degrees like BSc, BCA, MCA and all those things.
Yes, let's say you have a degree,
Yeah,
but you cannot describe the project. What's the point?
exactly. Okay.
If you can elaborate a linear regression model thoroughly,
Yep.
I mean, treating the data, getting the data, cleaning the data, processing the data, getting the fine tune done.
Okay.
If you tell the whole process to an interviewer,
Yeah.
he or she will be at least that much of confidence will have that okay, he will learn or he or she will learn the rest.
Okay.
That is the thing, because you need to understand the journey, because your work is contributing in a bigger picture.
Okay, okay. So one last question from my side. So, like as you are a data scientist and is working as a data scientist, so I think she will also is eager to know that like what is the job roles. Okay, so if you give some insights from the companies, like what you people do as a data scientist, and obviously about the job packages, if you can tell.
That's not. That's a very interesting topic. What package that they can expect?
Let's start with the working role.
Yeah,
That was the first question.
yeah.
So data science is a multidisciplinary field. You have to work with n number of people. You have to work with data analyst. You have to work with data engineer. You have to work with data visualization, whoever is doing, let's say Power BI developer, Tableau developer. Then you have to work with the business people, because for which you are the person you are solving the problem. Because let's say someone comes with and say you that okay, I want to increase my sale in my website. How to do it using machine learning? So you need to sit with that guy, that business guy, and you have to give him an understanding that okay, this is the process, this is the trajectory, this is the prediction we are getting. So you have to work with very technical guys. In a parallel way, you have to work with very non-technical guys. They are coming from other backgrounds. Okay. So communication is the first job role here. The
Okay.
more you communicate, the more your confusions will be clear.
Like there is a eligibility criteria like communication skills is required. Is that the communication skill just what you are telling right now?
Yes, communication skill. There is still, though in any CB, I mean any job role, you will not see specifically this line. This communication is necessary, mandatory.
Yeah.
But if you ask me, in a personal experience, I see it is a necessary. I mean, something you should have.
Okay.
You should have the communication skill. You should able to express your problem. Other than that, it will not help you.
Okay. And the next question is about the packages and all those things.
That's a very interesting question and important question.
Yeah.
As a fresher, you can go 5 plus. I see, because there are n number of criteria, there are n number of things that actually contributes in this factor. Because when we say about CTC, that comes with a lot of n number of XYZ. Okay, so there is no certain limit. Okay, but you can expect 5 around 5 plus around.
That's great for a fresher, I guess.
Adding to that, when Sourav was speaking about this package being somewhere around 5 and a lot of variable factors come into the picture. These variable factors can add up to almost 2.5 lakhs in your salary package. So technically, ultimately, what you are earning is 2.5 lakhs yearly. The remaining 2.5 lakhs is totally performance based. So you can never put a tag to it that as a fresher you're earning 5 lakhs yearly. But then again, it differs from place to place, right? Because the salary structure in Bangalore, the salary structure maybe in Pune, in Noida or in Calcutta differs from places to places. Because where the exposure is there, where there are a lot of companies, the competition is very high, so the companies fight for talent. So the salaries will be high. and the places where the salaries are low are technically the places where companies are less, and at the same time, of course, the talent is in excess, or maybe I don't have to fight for a talent. So technically, the salary structure in those places will be lesser. So yeah, thanks for that, guys. Thanks a lot. So Saurabh, before we close it, right? So just a couple of things from my end, which I actually wanted to ask you. First thing, of course, most of them they have asked you already. But as a data scientist, what is the path that you generally take from the position that you are in right now? Like, you are a data scientist, you are an established data scientist. So from here, like, we know, okay, I got into a company as a data scientist. Now where will I go? How far can you go? Like, I can become a director in data science. Say, for example, I'm saying you can keep going up your ranks. But as in the technicalities of certain things, are we looking at some other element come into the picture where maybe you are becoming, I don't know, like an AI expert or a deep learning expert or a neural tech? You are getting into neural tech, like we have this AI minds, right? So you're getting into that. So is that the path, or is it just going up the ranks?
No, actually, it is the path. I mean, when you start as let's say you start as a data scientist, you work on the projects, then you hands-on with some other tools, because the syllabus, or if I say it's syllabus, the syllabus is huge, right? You start one simple solution, then you get to know about neural network. You end neural network, there is a deep neural network. The deep neural network, then will find two neural networks fighting with each other.
Right.
That is actually called the Gen AI.
Right.
There are two neural networks fighting with each other. If you go deep down and down, there is no limit. As per your work, there will be a number of positions: director of AI, senior data scientist, chief data scientist, chief AI expert, particularly AI expert on a specific tool. Let's say there is a huge potential, it is coming up using the ChatGPT, prompt engineering.
That was my next question, actually.
Obviously, ChatGPT is in that much of limelight. So the prompt engineering is coming up as an alternate career, not maybe in
Recently,
India.
I actually saw a post where the prompt engineer in Google was apparently, like, even Netflix was hiring prompt engineering. Like, Hollywood is on strike, but Netflix is hiring prompt
Hollywood is on strike, yeah.
Netflix is hiring prompt engineers for 7 crores, like Indian currency, right? And that's a very interesting point, because prompt engineering apparently is it's a very small subpart of the whole family of things, right?
If you say about the prompt engineering, I specifically working on prompt engineering for the last 6 to 7 months in INT.
Definitely apply in Netflix.
Okay, so when the ChatGPT thing came, then I started by using the platform. It is that simple. You have to write this, you have to write this, you have to give it that. But when you take this thing in an automation solution, where you are building an entire flow, you will find that how much power the prompt engineering is. Whenever, if I get time in future, I get the chance, I would love to showcase the prompt engineering capabilities. I mean, that's a huge thing.
Can I become a prompt engineer?
You can, but you
without any knowledge, without any background.
Actually, you must have the.
See, I have a very basic knowledge of coding. I know a bit of Python here and there.
The main interesting point is, in a prompt engineering, there is no use of coding. It's just a natural language. The way you and me am talking, all the people are talking. For the AI domain, it is prompt engineering.
You guys know data science is not the path. Prompt engineering is the path. Right.
So I mean, because if particular companies like Netflix, Google, or Amazon like companies are promoting this prompt engineering, by this only we can understand that how much power it has.
It's a domain of generative AI, as we keep on.
It's a domain of generative AI. It's a tool. It's a way to talk with your AI system.
Interesting. So we will not drag it much, because I'm pretty much sure you have some other work to cater to. So before we close, ChatGPT, where do you see this going? We have ChatGPT, we have Google Bard, and we have XYZ things coming in. We have generative AI. We have softwares which can develop your photos, and most importantly, they can mimic singers and make a complete song, album, not song, an album. So where do you see this going, or how do you see, or how do you think things will look 10 years down the line?
I think to answer this question, I think we start with the present scenario. We are, as of, if you ask me, what I understand that we are in the breach from where we had a set of experiences, set of trends, set of schedule. Now we are transitioning into another dimension where we are not alone.
Right.
In terms of intelligence, there is something called machine with artificial intelligence who will work.
I was thinking of aliens, but anyway.
you can say. But because if you see the intelligence graph of all the living being in the world, there is no one matching human, correct? Now you are having the artificial intelligence and it is getting developed day by day. So, okay, now it has some limitation, but the kind of research is going on in the world in terms of ChatGPT, GPT-4 is there, OpenAI already registered for the GPT-5 logo. GPT-4 has the parameter of 1 trillion.
It has a data visualization inbuilt, right? You can give
Kind
it
of a thing. It's kind of they are trying to do a multimodal thing where not only the textual thing will be catered, all the images, video, audio can also be catered. So it took 1 trillion. And they are saying that GPT-5 will be 10 times, more than 10 times of GPT-4. So there is, sky is the only limit. That's the only tagline I can get.
That's scary. I'm not sure that's scary. But anyways, let's see where we go with this.
It's scary depending how you look at it.
True.
Very honestly.
True. Actually, that's the thing.
If you want to live with that, the fact that technology is in that motion, there was computer, now there is a next revolution, and we have to cope up with that.
Right.
Then you can live happily.
So before we close, I would like to ask Aniruddha and Sumita, like, do you guys have anything else to add? Not ask questions, of course. I'm pretty much sure most of your questions were answered. But do you have anything to add in terms of what did you come here expecting? And most importantly, are your doubts answered? Because what we would love to know, because we will be having a series of podcasts like this, right? So what we would love to know is what kind of people will be coming into the show. Like, we have a data scientist here. Tomorrow I might have a data engineer here. I might have an AI expert here. So are most of your questions answered?
After going home from here, I will just kickstart my things to data science. It's that much clear from my point of view.
Okay, so I knew that I was gonna learn something today. Of course, we have an expert here, but the things that I was searching for has become much more clearer for me. So it will be easier to delve into this field, and of course, for people who are from non-technical and technical, can watch this video to get started as well. And yeah, of course, my doubts are all cleared, but still, as I go on, I would need the experts much more and more to go deeper, right? So I would expect like to bring sir or other experts as well from different domains here to solve the doubts of every category of what can I say, employees or students, etc.
So yeah, adding to that, yes, definitely we will be having a lot of experts in the panel, and who will be talking to you guys. We'll be having a lot more students from various colleges who can come forward with their doubts, which we can ask our experts. And before we close, so thanks a lot, guys. So the whole episode was actually made in such a way that you guys get your questions answered. Right. So what we are going to do right now is, please go ahead, subscribe to the channel, because we will be coming with a lot of other contents. And most importantly, what we would like you to do is go ahead, comment below, give us questions, because we don't want to sit here and we do not want to ask questions, right? So the expert here is here actually to answer all your questions. So please go ahead, ask your questions, and definitely subscribe to the channel. Thank you.